Today, we go over the new budget line from WE Knives, the Civivi. Well, hey folks, welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I am your host, Aaron, and that is what we are looking at today. Now, I have never reviewed a WE Knife Company blade before. I've heard fantastic things, seen great fit and finish and materials being produced. Well, they have now released a budget line, kind of like what Kaiser did with the Tangram line. So they call it their Civivi, I believe is how you pronounce it, line. It's a budget line. Still hitting, really focused on fit and finish, performance, all of that, but coming in at budget prices. And we're looking today at the Baklash. And we're going to take the Baklash, we're going to do our EDC testing with it, take it out to the backyard, do cardboard, rope, rubber, plastics, all that. But going to run it up against a bunch of really good competitive options and just see how it competes compared to what else is out there on the market. Is it just kind of another, Chinese drop? Is it something that's a little bit more? And just what you can expect for paying less than $50 on a Civivi Baklash. So let's go ahead and get to it and break this knife down. All right, let's get right into it, folks. And I'm going to hit the first thing that really connects with me is the deployment. Is buttery smooth on ball bearing bushings. And for the price that we're gonna, hit on and talk through and break down compared to what else is out there is just amazing. It's awesome. We're seeing this more and more from Chinese companies really stepping their game up. WE is a Chinese company. And then so obviously the Civivi is owned by them, but feels really good. I do have some ball bearing bushings that are still a little gritty. This thing just feels so good, but the detent is just, you can hear it, it sucks in. It's not gonna accidentally whip out. That finger flipper is awesome. Has just a hair bit of jimping, but not sharp and aggressive, not obnoxiously out there either. And just flies right open. No need to flick your wrist at all. You can see that liner lock in there. We do have a kind of, I would say, medium size, if I can get in focus, there we go, medium size stop bar back there. This is, I would call an EDC knife. It's not a heavy duty, tactical folder or outdoor folder or something like that. The other cool thing is that the frame, which is, stainless steel frame, is like this, I don't know, this cool blue, I guess. Very, very cool aspect. You can see there in the light, just really connects. And then that liner lock hits really well. 40% of the blade there. I feel no wobble left and right, none up and down. And then it's out just far enough without over-aggressive jimping for me to disengage and flip close. So, and let's see if I can drop this guy in there. There we go. And then the centering is perfect. Perfect centering. So, deployment lockup for a liner lock and centering is awesome, particularly at this price range. All right, next up is the blade, and this shape super connects with me. Kind of reminds me a little bit of my SOG Seal Pup Elite. And what we're looking at here, satin blade, obviously. High hollow grind with not an abrupt shoulder. I'm testing out, where is it? I think it's on the table. This Concierge right now from Kershaw. Really kind of an abrupt shoulder on that hollow grind that I was expecting to slice better. This guy does not have that issue. It's higher. It's not as abrupt to that shoulder. That's where the hollow grind transitions to this flat area right here. And so this thing is a stupid slicer. Stupid slicer. Huge swedge. Just super elegant in its design. That was one of the things. The blade shape really connected with me. A little bit more piercing than it is with the belly. I mean, still belly, but not like some of the other blades we'll look at today in competitive options. You're looking back here at the stock of an 1/8 of an inch thick, 0.12, and then tapering down rather nicely. Not a super thin swedge up here, but the aesthetics look great. Really good tip. Really nice tip there, if I can get it to focus. There we go. And then we're looking from the handle to the tip, 3 inches. Actual cutting edge is 3.1. It does have a finger choil that I'll talk a little bit more in ergonomics, but that's what that, almost an inch missing there. Or sorry, about a 0.4 of an inch is missing. And so we'll hit that. But even with the transition right back there, you know, there's not like this big blank spot. Some companies don't grind it in all the way. Good relief edge. This is Chinese made, obviously, and so it is 9CR 18 MOV with a Rockwell of 58 to 60. Now I have used this on several different blades, including obviously this one. Came with a perfect edge, zero need to resharpen it out of the box for everything you're seeing, guys. And unless I tell you otherwise, every shot that in every of one of our reviews is factory edge, so that I can, you know, I want to see what the factory edge can do. And then I will usually tell you, yeah, I had to run ceramic rods on it, or no, I had to totally reprofile the edge. I will tell you if I have to do any of that. Otherwise, it is factory edge cutting, and that's what you're seeing throughout all the action that I'm rolling in right now. But yeah, with that 9CR 18 MOV with that Rockwell, it's going to hold an edge better than your 8CRs, better than most AUS 8s that you're going to find, and is on par with most Sandviks that you're seeing out of China now, like the Sandvik 14C28N. Close to D2, more rust resistant than D2, corrosion resistant, so that's a plus as well. The downside is usually if you have to reprofile the edge, it's kind of a pain in the butt. You have to take a lot of time with it. It's not as easy to reprofile as 8CR or AUS 8. It's more like D2 in that's kind of a pain in the neck. Thankfully, this came zero issues with that, and so then touching up with a ceramic rod is super easy when it does come time for that. And it's going to, again, just hold a better edge than most other, you know, AUS 8 and 8CR. So really good, no complaints for the price with that 9CR 18 MOV steel. All right, pocket clip is very functional. It does feel a little bit kind of an afterthought in the sense of just its styling. I feel like they could have done something kind of cooler. You do see this with a lot of these Chinese companies, is that it's just kind of like, oh yeah, boom, just kind of throw something on there. No, it's fully functional. I'm just saying it would be cool to start to see like a cool aspect where the pocket clips kind of connect more with the blades or something like that, like the shapes and stuff. But anyway, cutouts there, satin loop over. The screws are not recessed, but it's got a pretty good sized loop over, so most pockets, unless they're like double reinforced, will easily be able to slide over that. Nice big lanyard hole for 550 paracord. Nice little flare there without it being like super obnoxious. It is kind of like some other blades that we'll look at in a little bit. There's a steel wheel cut jack, you know, kind of has that little catch. Not my fave. My favorite would be better, like if it was more like this, just a little less obnoxious as a Wrap Model 1. But it's close, you know, not that huge a deal. Loop over though, so super deep ride. Tip up only, right or left. So it's completely ambidextrous with the flipper, with the liner lock, completely ambidextrous. And so for the price, we're getting a really good pocket clip that's going to ride deeper and be more EDC focused than a lot of other folders on the market that are going to be riding higher and, you know, just aren't going to be quite as slim in the pocket. All right, let's hit the other great part about this knife. Just every single part outside of really the pocket clip and just kind of being a little meh, is just totally, I'm just totally digging it. So the pivot as well has this kind of cool logo with it that looks kind of like a C right there, like a technical C. So that's pretty cool. On that pivot, and you know, simple pivot screw there. So handle, it's going to be G10. You can get them in green and black right now. I don't know what the green one has when it comes to the liners, but again, if the camera will focus, that's what we're looking at with that really cool blue look to it. Overall length from front to back is going to be 4.6 inches. It is going to be 0.51 inches thick. So a little bit on the thicker side, which is a good thing, which gives you really good full real estate on it. The nice thing is that on the handle scales themselves, you have really good transitions everywhere. In the center row right here, because there's like, this is a cut, this is a cut, this is a cut, so there's like 3 cuts basically, or 3 transitions. The center one is a little higher traction. These 2 are smoothed out, so that's kind of cool. That's going to give you a little bit of traction down the center, help grip a little bit with the pocket clip. It's not going to, you know, thrash your pocket or anything like that. Flow-through construction, G10 back spacer right there as well. And then it comes in at, I believe, 3.88 because the liners have been milled out, as you can see there, which is always great to see when they do that. So really nice to see that. Under 4 ounces for a 3.5-inch blade with all the aspects and the price point and everything. Now it fits my large size hands really well, as you can see there. Just filling out with plenty of real estate. Nice flipper, acts as that like guard. Then you have that really nice jimping that's not super sharp, but it's going to give you that really kind of mild thumb ramp. If you're going to do a thumb ramp, this is the way to do it. Again, just looks so much like my SOG Seal Pup. It's super sweet. So going to give me good traction, super good lockup. So I mean, you know, you could definitely, you know, do a thrust if you had to, last ditch, you know, effort, something like that. It could totally give you really good lockup for that. Now, the finger choil is 0.4 basically. And for my large size hands, it's just the right size. I'm almost up on that edge. I may even file that down just a hair right there so I don't accidentally nick myself if I come up a little bit. It's almost too small for my large size hands with that finger choil. So extra large size fingers, or if you have really fat fingers, you might find that you're not really enjoying that finger choil just because it is on a little bit of a smaller size compared to, say, the cut jack. Again, I'm going to bust that out there. If I can here, line these guys up. You can see it's not much, but the cut jack is just a little like wider and just a little bit further, which really feels a little more natural. The good thing is that it's not like this guy, you basically are just going to do really kind of obtuse cuts. Otherwise, you got to use the finger choil. This one, I can use this all day, and because it's so thin and so like kind of more high in cut in, you don't usually snag cardboard here unless it's you're going really tight for some weird reason, and my thumb is up there. So, you know, it just works better, and you don't feel like you have to use the choil where you feel like that with the cut jack a little bit more, and some of the other knives we're going to talk about. This one, it's kind of like an added bonus, and the control is amazing in that way. But all of the edges have been transitioned very nicely, zero sharp transitions or hot spots. They really did a good job with the handle ergonomics, I believe, overall with the design. Would have liked just a hair more on the choil, but for my size hands, it's very doable. All right, so let's go ahead and run up some similar design and competitive options with this guy. Oh, wait a second, just kidding. Another blade I'm working on right now, the Browse Silent Soldier Import. Just jacking with you guys. Okay, so we got the steel wheel cut jack, $42, D2 steel, Chinese made. Love that blade. Coming in at the exact same price as the Civivi Baklash over on Blade HQ. Again, links in the description below. Amazon, Blade HQ, knock-around sunglasses, but particularly for this Civivi, if this is connecting with you in just their whole line, I do have links over to Blade HQ right now, and they are not over on Amazon when this video is going. Maybe when time goes on, they may start to carry them over there. I will have links to Amazon and Blade HQ for like the steel wheels and some of the other blades we talk about. So if you're looking at maybe one of those instead of the Civivi, Amazon and Blade HQ as well for those. So $42 for the Civivi, and that's for all of their designs, the Baklash, color combinations, all that. Then for some other competitive content and discussion here, I do have a Bird Raven 2 in BD1 steel, made in China as well, about $44, $45, something like that. And then, let's see here, just for US competitive option, because that's Chinese again, is the Buck Knives Inertia that I'm currently reviewing. And so I'll just kind of throw all those in there. That guy's going to run, again, about the same price, between $35 and $45. Just depends on who, what, when, where, why. USA made, 420 high carbon steel. Now, with all that being said, what's cool about the Civivi that's going to set it apart is that it's got the ball bearings. These guys are not going to have ball bearing bushings. These are all liner locks, obviously. The US one will have the open assist. So that's something to consider. Now, what I've found is that, you know, you got D2 that's very similar in a lot of ways to the 9CR18 MOV. The D2, you could argue, might have a slightly longer edge retention, but is not quite as easy to resharpen as the 9CR and isn't quite as rust resistant. All these will be better than the 420. And then the BD1 is pretty low. It's similar to AUS 8, you know, as I use it more and more. It's good, but, you know, you got to resharpen it pretty frequently, but it is very rust resistant. So the other thing that I've noticed is that out of all of these, the best fit and finish is on the Civivi. The steel wheel is very close. Now, the steel wheel has bronze bushings. You know, it has a polymer handle, so it just feels a little cheaper than the G10, even though they're the same price. Liner locks are about the same. And basically, you're going to probably be mostly looking at the Civivi, or you're going to be looking at the steel wheel here. And I just want to kind of run in, you know, size perspective. They weigh about the same. They cost about the same. Very similar steels in the sense of edge retention and performance for Chinese stuff. Finger choils. You know, ambidextrous, you know, pocket clips. The Civivi will have that loop over. The steel wheel is going to have more of like a standoff. So the steel wheel is a little thinner, weighs about the same. The steel wheel is a little bit more like utilitarian. I could see you absolutely, carrying it hiking, backpacking, and totally love it. It has a saber grind with a bigger belly and just not abrupt spearing point tip. It's a great do-everything blade, but I really feel like the Civivi is a better EDC functioning blade. I would not be taking the Civivi out, backpacking, hiking, camping. It's just not really lined up for that. It's not designed for that. It feels a little bit more like precision, elegant, EDC to the office, and is going to fit better, in a business deal than the cut jack will, but the cut jack is going to feel better like doing rough and tumble stuff. And getting out in the woods, getting dirty, getting mud on it and wiping it off. So that's kind of the way I see it and the way I feel. And what I'm seeing with, compared to like the Inertia and even the Bird here is that, like the Bird's got nylon bushings and, the G10 is really squared off and clunky. It's owned by Spyderco, a U.S. company. The Inertia is a U.S. company, but, lower quality edge retention, similar fit and finish, but only one side pocket clip. Loop, loop over, that type of thing, is that basically like the Civivi and the steel wheel, because they're both, Chinese made knives, and this is a European company, Chinese company, are pushing the envelope, and I would say outperforming the Buck and outperforming the Spyderco, the Bird, in most arenas. So they really got to step their game up if they're going to compete at this level compared to what Civivi and steel wheel are producing. Well, folks, I am totally enjoying this knife. This thing is delicious and nutritious for my budget. It's a great blade, great fit and finish. They've executed everything flawlessly. I have zero complaints with this knife. And if you are in the budget market and you're just kind of getting tired, of some of the stuff, I'll be honest, that Kershaw and CRKT and Ontario and some of these U.S. companies that I love and support and care for and all of that, that they're basically for around the same price point, I believe, giving us in a lot of ways, just not quite as much as these Chinese companies like WE Knives with Civivi, Tangram from Kaiser and Kaiser Knives. And so, yeah, I just really hope to see our U.S., home companies can start to step their game up, because this is a sick blade. And compared to what those other companies like Kershaw, CRKT, Ontario, whatever, what they produce in China and Taiwan for the similar prices is not what you're going to get with these knives most of the time with blade steel and fit and finish and performance. So the Civivi Baklash and the other Civivi products, again, links in the description below over to Blade HQ, and if they ever become available on Amazon, I will include those as well. Totally dig it, totally love it, zero complaints, and if you've been thinking about it or wondering about it, do it. You won't regret it. I have not regretted it at all. Totally going to keep this sucker in the collection because it's a sweet blade. So thank you guys so much for coming over here today and checking out the channel. If you're not a current subscriber, I invite you to become part of the GT family, throwing up videos like this every single week. You current subscribers rock. Thank you for your continued support and everything that you do here. Just helping us continue to do what we do. Yeah, social media, Instagram, Facebook, follow us there as well. Stuff that we're putting up every single week. Don't forget about the mailbag. If you want one of your questions answered, possibly an upcoming video live, put a question in the comments below and put hashtag mailbag, and I may pick it up and answer it live in an upcoming video. Don't forget about the Gideon's Tactical Show, completely different. We do interviews, guest appearances, more of like a thought, discussional, entertainment level than just reviewing gear. So check those out every Saturday. We're cranking those out as well. And we do have a playlist for those as well, the Gideon's Tactical Show. Finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.